Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, call the police. Don't mind if I do. Okay, I won't put duplicate freight bills for the same company under its translated name. Putting a smile from A to Z. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Call the police. Don't mind if I do. I'm a train driver in the UK. Weekday commuters in busy periods are fine, they know what they're doing and where they're going. Weekenders are another story, they rock up and have no idea where they're going and act indignant when we tell them the route they want to take is full of engineering works. However, the worst is summer holiday teenagers. It's school holidays at the moment here in the UK, so they're just pissing around for the fun of it. Last week, I had one teenage girl block a set of doors from closing. I did my usual PA spiel of, you might not have anywhere to go, but the other 100 or so people on board want to get home or to work. This usually gets the ones bothered the most to get up and see what's going on. Wasn't enough for this girl. I went back and asked her what the problem was. She remained silent and refused to look at anyone, but looked at me and said, "Get the police then." In the end, police were called and we waited on the platform for 40 minutes for them to arrive and take her away. Last night, it was the second last stop before I was to take the train empty back to the depot and go home, after a 9-hour shift. I was done. I tried to close the doors and they wouldn't lock fully. Tried again a few times, then saw it was the door behind me. I got out of my cab and saw it was the same girl. "Oh, you were the same girl that held up my train for 40 minutes last week." No, it wasn't me, it was. Unknown to her, I had been told over the radio to expect delays into the terminus station as they were dealing with an incident and police were there. I just said to her, "Listen, I know it was you, it's my last train of the night and I want to go home on time, so you can either shut up and sit down, I'll drag you out, or I can get police to come deal with you." She obviously remembered police coming the week before, so went and sat down. Unbeknownst to her, I used the 6-minute journey time between that station and terminus station to call the signaller and request police assistance on arrival. When I pulled in, there were 6 police officers waiting for us. I didn't open the doors and let the police in through my cab door and pointed her out. The fish mouth on her was priceless as I said, "You told me to call the police." Okay, I won't put duplicate freight bills for the same company under its translated name. I know the title of this looks weird, but it will make sense. I grew up speaking a Scandinavian language at home. This came in really handy once I got a job as a data entry person at a freight billing company. The clients would send their freight and the bills would come to us as a third-party billing company, so we would enter them into our system sorted by client and tracking number, or equivalent. There was one company, a popular shredding business with a triangle logo. I saw that there were stacks of bills that used the English name of the company and stacks of bills with the same tracking numbers and were basically duplicate bills that used the Norwegian or Swedish name. The company was getting billed twice for all its freight shipments. I told the auditor, my boss, who handled client communications, and she told me to enter them using the corresponding company name. Okay, whatever, I was getting paid by the number of bills I entered that weren't rejected by our system, not that weren't rejected by the client's system, so I entered them as the company that each said it was on the letterhead of that particular bill. We then had 2 databases of bills that were the same tracking numbers, and same everything, but that we were billing different companies for at the same address. The client, of course, was refusing to pay whichever bill got entered as the non-duplicate, and my boss couldn't understand why. She came back to me and asked me to explain again why I thought that they were the same company. I happened to have a language dictionary with me on that day, because I was talking about languages with someone else, so I showed her what the two words translated into. She called the company, yes, same phone number for both, on the letterhead, and had a half-hour talk with someone there. It turned out that the company name was the founder's last name, which was a place name in the old country. People weren't pronouncing it correctly and they always got questions about it, so they decided to change to the English translation of the name. Apparently, they thought everyone would just know somehow that it was the same, so they didn't tell the auditor. My boss and the company owner thanked me for catching the error and insisting that it was the same, and I entered all the foreign freight bills for a while because my boss knew I would be able to figure them out. Putting a smile from A to Z. Gear yourself up as this is a long one. All you punctuation and spelling experts take the day off as this is a story about a delivery driver, myself, not a job that requires an ology in the mechanics of the English language. At the start of COVID in UK, where all good stories start, I had myself an easy job working in a casino. Once lockdown started we were all put on furlough for 6 months. I finally had all that free time that I said I had needed to do all the things I have never had the time to do. Like many people, having time is not the same as having motivation, and all I did in that 6 months was become very good at Call of Duty, drinking beer and putting on weight. After the first lockdown was lifted we returned to work with many changes and most of them just made the job a drudge and I started to hate it. When we were told that we would be going into lockdown again I had to make a choice for my own sanity, and my waistline, that I would leave this job and do something so I could be working. Sounds crazy now that I would choose work over free money for doing nothing, but that is what I did. There is also a story in this but that's for another Reddit. The new job. I looked on Facebook, it was lockdown and it was easy, see above, lacks motivation. I found recurring adverts for work with one of the world's largest online shops, we will call them amazing, not amazing, and this was in the last mile part of the service as a delivery associate, delivery driver. The money was good and you would be driving a branded van, all fuel paid, easy job on the face of it. In September I contact them and get called in to do a talks test. While I'm here I get the info on the situation. I'm not actually working for Amazing, not amazing, but I'm working for a delivery service partner, DSP, in fact I'm not really working for them as I'm a self-employed contractor. In essence I was to be paid £100 a day and if we got good delivery numbers for a week we would get a bonus at one of 3 levels on all the days I worked. It's a standard thing with Amazing, not amazing, and the branded vans. Having heard some horror stories of how the non-branded drivers are treated and fleeced by the DSP that they work for, Amazing, not amazing, knows what's going on and don't care, this seemed a good deal. No in-van training was given due to COVID but I've driven big vans and trucks and all sorts so not a problem for me. Scary to think though, they give no training and let people loose on the roads in these vans and it's not changed much without the COVID restrictions. Amazing, not amazing, seem to not worry about this. The work takes a bit of getting used to and it's hard work to start with and in all weather conditions. The routes are all pre-caged so you collect your parcels and you get a device that tells you where to go. Route times are 8 hours and the little Amazing, not amazing, computer programs the route. You have 1 hour extra for retries. When you first start out even after 9 hours you'll have been behind and some poor soul who finished their route early will come and rescue you, more on this later. If you go over the 9-hour mark your DSP gets a fine from Amazing, not amazing. By the time December rolls around the DSP that I'm working for has taken on loads of extra drivers and more branded vans, even taken on 20 non-branded vans with promises from Amazing, not amazing, for continued work over the festive season and into the next year. Not even half the non-branded vans got used. I've become very efficient at looking at my route in the morning and changing it around. My 8-hour route can be completed in 4 to 5 hours, and in December we started work at 6 a.m. so I was the one doing the rescues, or if everyone was up to date I would be home by midday. It was really that easy, although them bonuses never seemed to kick in. Amazing, not amazing, never had a problem with it, and I was working weekends when they had a real problem getting people to work them days, and too many people dropping shifts. Roll into January and suddenly amazing, not amazing, tells my DSP we can't give you all that work we promised, so you are going to have to let a load of your drivers go. End of January I get home and my partner throws a pregnancy test at me and said, "I'm not getting fat, I'm pregnant," then bursts into tears. Turns out she was 5 months pregnant, neither of us are young, and she just thought it was menopause, not the ideal time with work laying off drivers, but I had laid good groundwork to being a good driver, never sick, always working weekends and helping out when needed, even picking up dropped shifts. I had to drop a shift a week so the DSP could keep as many drivers as possible just in case. Amazing, not amazing, actually gave them more work. I was fine with that, and the 4-day week means more time with the baby mama, watching her belly grow with the baby due in May. By the end of April I'm doing 5-day weeks again, and now COVID restrictions are loosening up a bit more, and the DSP I work for train new drivers and getting them to go out a couple of times with experienced drivers to show them the ropes, and I get to be doing that a lot. It's a great skive as it's 1/2 routes, and even with someone that's slow it's 4 hours max. I tell them I'm going to be off for a bit from mid-May, and I'll let them know when I'm coming back. I don't get holiday pay or paternity leave, but my bank balance is okay and I'm about to be a dad. I take off till early July. It's great being home with the baby and her mum. She is awesome, her mum is awesome, and life is good, but I've made the decision that I need to be doing something else as this job has very limited prospects. I start on a course that'll take about a year and I can do it around working for amazing, not amazing. I go back to work and it kind of runs the same as the year before, but I get to train new drivers, and again as Christmas comes the DSP takes on loads of new drivers and a load more vans, as amazing, not amazing, has promised them more work even after the Christmas peak. ISH*TU not they hired 10 non-branded vans and I only ever saw 2 go out on routes. I say nothing and just crack on head down. Only working 4 days, 2 of which are weekends, as I need to study and help out with the baby. Come January and all that work, amazing, not amazing, had promised the DSP was no place to be seen, and it was time to get rid of excess drivers. Again I'm in a good position as I complete my routes and help when needed, also work Saturday and Sunday. I need a minimum of 4 days a week to cover my lavish lifestyle, pay my bills, support my family. Already spoke with the boss and told him this, and was assured that because of my rank, top 5 driver, it was of little importance to me until this, in the DSP I'd be fine. Here comes the malicious compliance. Sorry it took so long. Come February I check the rota and I've only got 3 days while other people get 5 days, and they don't do weekends yet I do. Not one to be messed around, I contact the boss and explain my frustration at my lack of work and tell them that going forward I won't be working weekends unless I get 4 shifts. The following week we are told that if you want more than 3 shifts a week you need to work at least 1 weekend shift. Following week I'm on 3 shifts again, and including Sunday and Saturday. The week runs Sunday to Saturday. I go in on Sunday, speak to the boss, and he says nothing he can do about it now. I tell him you best get someone to cover that Saturday then, as I won't be doing it. Come Saturday my phone gets lit up and I just ignore it. I put in my request for the next week, Monday to Wednesday, no weekends and 3 days only. Had a nice late sleep on Sunday, removed my DSP boss's number from my favorites so it couldn't get past my silent mode on my phone, and sure enough I had about 10 missed calls and a few messages asking me to cover dropped routes. On Monday I was back and did my route, took about 5 hours, and the rest of the week went like that. Come the weekend I'd get missed calls and messages as they were desperate for weekend drivers. Not much they could do as I was only doing 3 days a week now and not working weekends. Come March and all of a sudden amazing, not amazing, tell the DSP that your drivers are finishing their routes too quick, tell them to slow down. I get told this and I'm like, hold on, we get paid the same money to do the same job but you want us to do it slower? By this time I've had enough and I'm ready to quit anyway, and I've got myself something else lined up that I've been working on, so I went out on that day and bashed my route out in just over 3.5 hours. Admittedly my boss was not happy, but I no longer had any respect for him, so it didn't bother me. Next day I'm 30 drops ahead and get the message that I need to slow down or I won't be on the road next week, so I Zoom call my dad and we chat for an hour. I actually take a lunch break, the first one I'd ever had as a delivery driver, managed to push it to 7 hours, and still I got berated in the team WhatsApp group. So I thought, sod this. I came in the next day with some textbooks and put my device in airplane mode. When I got 30 ahead I stopped, did some reading, got myself 30 behind, chilled, even had a nap one time after the baby had a bad night. I did this for a few weeks. My days were longer, but I was getting my study done and my course was nearly done. I had set up an interview with a company that would give me a job, and obviously I did it over a Zoom call from the back of my delivery van. I overrun on my route that day by 15 minutes, which is a big no-no, but hey, I got the job so wasn't too bothered. I needed to continue working for 4 more weeks, but I was going to do it at a snail's pace, a snail with a limp. I maxed out my drive time every day. They stopped sending people to rescue me as I just slowed down even more. I went from top rank to lowest and still no sign caring about it. I jacked it in a week early as I no longer had the will or the need to do it. I will say this about that job: I met some great people and made some good friends. I experienced people from other countries and cultures and we had a laugh when it was good. But the staff turnover is unbelievable, and how that company treats people like expendable objects has really darkened my view of them. Now I'm sorry if I bored you with this, but it amused me at the time and I thought I'd share. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.